Hello, I'm Stefan,
And I'm Leonard,
and welcome to Two Film Nerds podcast.
where we talk about the movies.
We rate them,
We judge them.
we give our honest opinions.
What are we talking about today, Stefan?
So today we are reviewing the Odyssey.
After years of war, no one could stand between my men.
An epic action fantasy film released in 2026 and directed by well-known director Christopher Nolan. And Lena, what are some of your favorite movies of his?
Well, I would say one of my favorite movies of his is one of his first movies, Memento, which is very good, I think. And I also, of course, I like The Dark Knight. I like Interstellar, Inception. There are a few movies of his that I haven't seen, like Dunkirk and Oppenheimer, because I don't have any interest in that. So
Yeah, I haven't seen it.
But he's generally known as a very brilliant director.
I've seen Tenet also. It's very good. Yeah. Well, after doing science fiction themes, now he's starting to do more historic themes with Oppenheimer and Dunkirk, and now he goes even further in ancient Greece.
Yeah,
So
into myth territory.
his latest movie is based on Homer's ancient Greek poem, and it follows Odysseus, king of Ithaca, as he
Yeah.
attempts to return home after Trojan War, and he faces a lot of difficulties along the way. We're going to talk about some of them later. I think we should say a couple of interesting facts about the movie. Like,
Yeah, it was much hype. There was so much hype around this movie, and
yeah,
it's been
yeah.
out for a couple of weeks now when we're recording this, and it's doing very well at the box office. I think it's getting close to 300 million gross right now, and it's considered like a huge success, and it's also been very critically acclaimed by both audience and critics.
Yeah, it was shot entirely using IMAX film cameras.
Yeah,
Reportedly, it costed around 250 million, and on first weekend worldwide, it earned 264 million.
yeah.
So they already, making
It's
money.
going to be profitable.
Yeah, for sure. And that's, I think, why the Hollywood gave him such a big budget and opportunity to direct it, because they know that Nolan's movie will attract audience. If you remember the situation that happened with Barbie and Oppenheimer, they had the same Barbenheimer, exactly. They had the same opening weekend, and they were fighting for, who's gonna make more money.
Yeah, and
But
I think that both movies benefited from that, I think.
Of course they did, but I think at this time this attracts even more audience because this is a story that's well known. It has already been tried out at the cinema. You remember there were multiple versions of Odysseus, and also the latest movie that was a big hit was Troy with Brad Pitt playing Achilles. Yeah. And so now that we're talking about the actors, can you give us some names of the actors who are in it?
I could read from a long list, but I'm just going to make. Of course, it stars Matt Damon as Odysseus, Penelope as his queen, Tom Holland as his son. Yeah, and
Zendaya as
Zendaya.
Athena.
Yeah.
Robert Pattinson, one of the suitors, and of course there's Charlize Theron as Calypso.
Yeah.
A lot of films.
Yeah.
I mean, Nolan is well known for recruiting a strong cast, I would say.
Yeah. Fun fact about Zendaya: this could mean that she will be the actor that generates most box office money ever in history, because she's in this one, she's in The Odyssey, she's in Spider-Man: Brand New Day, and she's also in Dune.
Dune 3, yeah.
So very famous person.
yeah. And this time she's in it with her boyfriend also. Is she husband?
They're
married.
married.
Oh,
yeah,
I missed. Nobody called me to that wedding.
Me neither.
Well, okay. So Leonard, tell me, what do you think about the movie?
I think so much about this movie. First of all, I didn't see it in IMAX. I wish could have, because that would have been an even extra more special experience, I think. But I saw it in a regular theater, which was a very nice big one, so that's okay. Because all the IMAX showings were sold out. Even the ones early in the morning were sold out.
Yeah, yeah.
And that's also a testament to the film's success, I would say.
Yeah.
What do I think about it? My strongest likes about I had no idea what I was going to think about it. And of course I've heard about the story of the Odysseus and his Odyssey, and I heard about the Cyclops and some of the other things that he goes through, but I don't remember ever reading the Odyssey. And from what I've heard, this movie is like Christopher Nolan's version of the Odyssey.
Of course, it's an adaptation. But yeah.
And I've heard that in the poem the gods are a lot more prominent than they are in the movie. But I'm not sure.
Yeah, he follows the poem, I would say, and not in chronological order, which makes it more interesting in the movie. I would say I didn't mind it wasn't chronologically. But yeah, he follows. I think the main points are there, the main events. Yeah,
of course, because it is essentially about a man's journey.
Of course, and he's also redemption.
Yes.
It is a commentary on the war itself, of course. At the end, the audience they get an insight. What does the Odysseus really think about the war he was involved with, and the sacrifices they all had to endure. Some losing their lives, many losing their lives, and let's say in vain.
I would say that the reason for the war, if I remember correctly, is like trade routes. I think.
Yeah, Helen of Troy is just an excuse to get into the war. So I think it tells a story about a man's honor and love, but not really. That's not the reason the war started, to intercept that trade route or whatever. It was a big opportunity to attack the Troy, which walls, as they say, are impenetratable. Yeah.
So I didn't really have much of an opinion about it before I watched it. Of course, I knew that it's going to be big and all that, and it's a Christopher Nolan movie. So I had some. It actually surprised me. It surprised me in the way that it was told. And I actually am not a big fan of the story being told out of order, with flashbacks and going back and forth in time. Because I actually honestly think that this movie would have benefited from being told in order.
I don't know. So the order would start with him leaving Ithaca to go to war, and then we would.
Yeah.
It started. We don't want to spoil too much, but how it starts, how it ends.
Yeah, I think as I was watching it in the beginning of the movie, it bothered me a bit that it felt like confusing, but they tied it together so nicely that I forgave them for that. So
yeah, I think if you know the story, let's say original text, it's easier for you to follow. If you don't, but I still think you need to know just a bit about the myth itself, about the Trojan horse and Trojan War, and how they hid in it, got into the Troy, and most people know the story about it, behind it, and yeah.
But it's also very much about the horrors of war, the consequences of war,
the
consequences both in the place where the war happens and at home. Yeah.
I think the commentary comes from that. I think maybe that's one of the intentions why Nolan did the movie now, or we can just project our ideas and views into it. Yeah. That's also valid. That's what art is for. Also,
yeah, I think so.
Not giving answers necessary, but also asking questions.
Yeah, and I think that what does help this movie become something extra special is the fact that it's made because this poem, it could be seen as like a silly story almost. There are cyclops and there are robots or whatever soldiers. There are giants and a lot of weird stuff, but it's made so it feels very real. And I don't
Well,
know if that because they used like mostly practical effects
yeah.
and not CGI, because it feels like gritty and real.
The thing that was like as little of CGI as possible, and
Yeah,
he really wanted to like the locations are not CGI, which I
no,
respect.
yeah,
They filmed everything on actual locations, and when you see Odysseus with his men in the ships, it has been filmed at sea. I mean, of course, some stuff like the storms that I believe they did it in the studio, but most of the stuff has been filmed at the actual locations, which is not only expensive but a lot of logistics involved, and it's brave. It's brave, but it. So I don't know how can somebody watch this movie and say it's bad with so much effort put into it, and of course acting is very good. Matt Damon is very good in
yeah.
it.
He is
Now
Odysseus.
yeah, now I can't really see anybody else. I mean, maybe somebody, I mean, could play that role. But I was like, first made Damon as Odysseus, I was skeptical. I mean, I didn't see it, but now
Yeah.
after seeing movie, I was convinced. I was convinced, and I think that's
Mm.
what one of his best roles. Uh, yeah, but
I would.
other cast is also good. I like Anne Hathaway. John Leguizamo, am I
Yeah,
pronouncing his name right? He's amazing. I
yeah.
think you would agree.
Yeah, he is. I think I see an Academy Award nomination in his future,
Could be.
and I
Yeah,
also think I see one for Matt Damon, and I
no doubt.
maybe see one for Robert Pattinson as well,
Yeah,
who's
Robert
very
Pattinson.
good
Oh,
at playing evil.
he's so slimy in this movie. But
Yeah,
but know there's this meme about him doing everything he can so people forget about Twilight. I
oh,
think
well, he's succeeding. He's
he's doing a
succeeding.
great job because
Yeah,
he is
he.
really taking he's an amazing actor, and I've seen him recently in drama. He's also very good there, and
Yeah.
uh,
Another movie starring Zendaya.
yeah, of course. What are some of the strongest assets of this movie? What would you say?
I would say that the way that the story is the story I think when because he has picked the best what he thinks is the best parts of the Odyssey, and he's done
Yeah,
that in a very clever, good way, and and there's something, and of course I would also say combined with the excellent music by Ludwig Göransson,
yeah,
it also it
music,
just
yes.
it just captures you, and you want to see, oh, what's going to happen when Odysseus finally reaches home.
Yeah. The music and sounds amazing. A lot of
Yeah,
drums in it, a lot of
yeah,
suspense music. But
yeah,
the thing that really struck a chord, if I could say, is a pulling of a string.
yeah,
And when people watch the movie, I watched it in the theater, it was an IMAX also, but anyway,
yeah,
when he pulls that string, you feel it. You feel it in your
yeah.
bones. Yeah,
You do.
that was a powerful moment for me.
Yeah, and I read somewhere that they actually used like ancient Greek instruments
Yeah.
to
They
create these
try to
sounds,
recreate it. Yeah, of course.
and that helps as well.
Yeah, you mentioned Academy. I think this movie will definitely
Yeah, yeah,
be
yeah.
nominated for Best Picture. But on the other side, I just want to say that, uh, of course, a lot of effort has been put into it. But if you look at it as this is worth your money if you're going to the theater. That's what I want to say. Like
Yeah,
because this has everything. It has something for everybody. That's what
yeah.
I want to say.
It's yeah,
It has action, it has romance, drama, it has a bit of horror, which
hmm,
Nolan is not known for it. But
yeah.
he I think introduced a bit of horror to his work. So there are a lot of things to see in this movie, and I think everybody will find something that they like. And strong cast. And I think we should talk about the
Well,
controversy.
I would have I have to add that it's a four quadrant movie. It's young, old, men and women. Everybody will like this movie.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's gonna be probably one of the most highest grossing movies of this year.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I'm sure. And
yeah,
it has that epic feel. You know
yeah.
you're going to see a big movie, and it's really big. It's as big as it gets.
It's a classic sword and sandals epic. but
Yeah.
it's done in a new modern way, and that makes it so
But
interesting.
especially today when like this kind of epic fantasies are very popular, and you have now House of the Dragon following Game of
Hmm.
Thrones success, and people like to watch stuff like that. So like battles and creatures and
Yeah.
yeah.
So which part of the movies resonate mostly with you? Which parts stand out for you? Which parts do you like the most?
I really like the scenes in Ithaca at the beginning and at the end of the movie. Yeah, for me, Ithaca is the pinpoint of this movie. I mean, that's the whole story about him leaving home to go to war, and then he
Yeah.
comes back, the travel. But that's that's the driving force behind it. Going home to his wife, and going home to his son. That's the story that I think the most relatable. I like most of the scenes that are on open seas. Like in the ships. I found that amazing. That was so fascinating to me. I really like how it starts and how it ends, and yeah, I think it's a really good movie. And I was like, I didn't expect it to be bad, of course, but um, I thought it was gonna be one of those soulless blockbusters. And honestly, I'm not a big fan of Nolan, and I think some of his movies are soulless, but this isn't, and that's why I really like it. What about you?
Well, I would say that there's the big story arc of him going back from home after the Trojan, going to the Trojan War and then going back home. And then there are the smaller stories within that story, which is like the Cyclops,
Yeah,
Cersei, the Calypso, and some other ones I think as well. And I would say at some point it's almost like body horror.
yeah, yeah, yeah,
And if we spoil things, you've been warned. But his confrontation with Cersei, where
yeah.
his entire crew is turned into pigs because they're it's like what do they call it when you feast on something too much?
Being greedy.
Greedy, yes, yes. Then there's
There's a bit of feminism in that story with Cersei, but
oh
that's like
the entire movie is very feminist coded, I
you
would say.
you think?
Yes, it's one of the best lines in the movie, which I can't remember exactly now. That when she's Penelope is asked by her son told by her son that Ithaca needs a king, so it
Yeah,
needs someone to sit the king on that throne, and then she says something about I've been on the throne for 20 years or whatever it is. So
yeah,
that's so powerful. Yeah, I think it's a very
yeah.
feminist movie.
There is, of course, but with Cersei, that's about like, basically, uh, an aspect of all men being chauvinist pigs, and then she turns them
Yeah, yeah,
into,
yeah, yeah.
you know
Of
what I mean?
course. And you can apply that to 2026 if you want to. And I
Yeah.
think because of course this is a version of the story. So yeah, I think so.
But there is also a bit of toxic masculinity, but not a lot.
No,
But
yeah, but there,
there is toxic masculinity also. So we have
of course.
a
But
lot
then
of,
there's also the temptress, the Calypso that sort of kidnaps him.
yeah, voluptuous. Yeah,
Yeah,
there's a lot. Yeah, so
yeah.
I wouldn't. I read somewhere that like this movie is based on, men and bros and everything, but I don't think so. I think there it has really strong female
Mm.
characters, like Cersei, very strong, and Penelope also.
And
So
Helen of Troy, of course, like
yes, also
she's
she's very, how would you say that?
assertive, I would
Yeah,
say.
yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, yeah,
rebellious, even after coming back and being scarred
yeah,
and everything.
yeah,
But let's talk about her for a minute. What,
yeah.
why do you mind the his choice,
Do I
black
mind
actress playing Helen of
that a
Troy?
person that is made up being cast with a black person? No, I do not. I don't. I have no. I have no idea.
The thing about Homer is, of course, uh, there's no description at Homer.
No.
The only description we have is about Achilles being blonde. That's basically the only description.
And then
most characters, of course, not descriptive at all. And you have to remember that that's something that became like that myth was first oral before it was later on written. So it has been sung like a song from, one generation to another after it has been, written down. So you have to have that in mind. Yeah, I don't
get what all the hula baloo is about, and I think it's a small portion of the internet that breeds this kind of hate. And the same thing they did with Elliot Page, because Elliot Page they thought was going to play Achilles, who's not even in the movie.
No.
He plays Sinus, I think. It's his character's name.
Yeah, and there's but also the like a transgender person getting the Trojan horse in. So there are also some speculations if that's a commentary or not. I don't think so.
But I think he does a great job. So, and that's all I can. And so does Lupita Nyong'o. So
very good, of course. The only thing that really struck to me, I don't mind the casting and everything, but there's like guy who plays his close friend and warrior, Indian guy. So he at some point he says, we're Greek, we're from Ithaca, and that just sticks out because he's obviously.
But then again, they all speak with an American accent. Even Tom Holland, who's British.
Yeah, he says dad. He doesn't say father. He says father, but he says my dad is coming back. And
when I saw the trailer, that bothered me. But when I saw the movie, it did not bother me. I forgot it straight away.
Yeah, I thought that like if you take, for example, Game of Thrones that has more like proficiency English. I was expecting something here, but I guess they just wanted to be easier for the
ear.
for the ear and for the audience. Yeah.
So we need to get to our final opinion and our score of how would you grade this movie, Stefan? God. One. How many stars out of 5 is it for you?
Oh, I would, it's so hard. It's a great movie. I think it's a strong 4. Strong 4 for me. Yeah.
Do we give out half stars?
Yeah, you're free to do if you want to.
So for me, it's 4.5.
Well, 4.5. Okay.
Because I think it's almost perfect. But for me, the 5 stars is for the perfect movies. Like I can mention a few, but yeah.
Yeah, for me, 5 stars is like a masterpiece. That's like very that's almost as an experience more than a movie. So that's like I say strong 4 is very deserved.
And I wouldn't be surprised if this movie will grow on you. Maybe it will become a masterpiece after a while. Once it sinks in, it will become even better. I don't know.
I will watch it again, of course, some past time. I'll watch it again for sure, but I'm glad I see it in the movie theater, and I think everybody should if they're able to
see the Odyssey.
Go see it because I think it's worth your money. And also I have to say the runtime is almost 3 hours. I haven't felt it. I wasn't bored for even a second. I was in it, and I think the fact that it's not chronologically told helped to that feeling. Maybe you would I
just find it would be very, very interesting to see it in chronological order, just to compare it. I can't say which one I would prefer, but
yeah.
Okay, anything to add, Stefan?
No, I think I've said enough. And
me too.
Thank you guys for listening. Have a great day. Bye.
See you all again soon. Bye-bye. Bye.